Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new, I am Becca. I'm a single mom to 3 boys, and today we are doing a juicy Q&A, a lot about my separation with my husband. That was what most of the questions were about, which I kind of already knew was a given. So if you want all the juice and you want to know everything, well, not everything, because I'm going to keep some things personal, but I'm going to answer most of your questions with, the separation, and then of course a few odds and ends questions as well. I'm gonna try and get through all of them as quickly as possible, but let's hop right in. All right, the first question is, how is your health doing? And my health right now is okay. It's subpar, right? I have the spontaneous intracranial hypotension, which is a CSF leak, and it gives me chronic headaches, but it's not like a normal headache. It's like a situational headache, and it doesn't last for long, but it happens periodically throughout the day from certain motions, and that is still happening. It's still going on. We haven't found the leak yet. I still have to go back to the doctors. It's just a lot of trying to figure it out. We haven't figured it out. So my health is pretty much the same as it's been for like the past 8 months now, unfortunately. Hopefully I have answers soon. Hopefully it's fixed soon because I'm tired of it. So next question, will you be keeping the house and the newer car? So my car isn't really all that new. I've had it now for about a year and a half. I've had it over a year, so 1 year down of paying it off. It is fully warranted out because it was brand new and we got an extended warranty on it. So I will be keeping that car. The goal is to pay it off as quickly as possible. And as well, like I said, I could definitely trade it in and, go for something cheaper, right? But I would end up with like a hoopty. So then I'm gonna pay to have to fix that car, maintain it and all those things. And all of those things are already covered with my current car. So I feel like it would end up being a wash anyways. And given the financial situation right now, I can afford it. So there's just no reason for me to get rid of it. It's a very reliable car, and the kids love it. And Chris and I have both decided that we both would keep both of our cars because he loves his truck as well. So he's going to keep his newer truck. He got his truck about, this summer will be a year, I think. So his is still relatively newer too. So he wants to keep his truck. I want to keep my car. So we're going to keep those. As far as the house, I will be staying in the house for a while. In the state of South Carolina, you have to live separately for a year and 1 day in order to file for divorce. So it's going to be a long time before we can finalize the divorce. It's not going to be an overnight process. Neither one of us really are even in a rush to get divorced. We're super cordial. We're co-parenting just great. Being married doesn't really do anything. I mean, it keeps my health benefits, which obviously I need right now as well. But we will file for divorce when the time comes and we legally can, yes. And at that point, we will sell the house. Until then, I'm probably just gonna stay here. There's no reason for me not to. Once again, it's one of those topics where we discussed it. That was a mutual decision. And yeah, so I'm gonna stay in the house, but we will eventually sell the house. Will you be able to keep up with the expenses? Yes, I will be able to keep up with the expenses. I will obviously live on a much tighter budget, and as you notice, I am hustling way more on YouTube because that definitely, the more I put out, the more money I make. I'm gonna be doing more sponsorships to help supplement that as well. But yes, I can afford my expenses. I won't have as much extra money in my pocket as I did when we were a 2-household income. And of course, Chris is going to help as well. We have children together. He's not just gonna leave me and the kids stranded, but yes, I can afford my expenses. The budget's just a lot tighter now. Do you have family close? No, I do not. I don't have any family close. I'm trying to think the closest family members I have. I mean, I don't have any close. My sister's in Arkansas. I have a cousin in Arizona. I have a lot of, close family friends and some family in Connecticut. So no, nobody is close. My mom is in Florida, but we are no contact, and we have been for quite a few years. So she's the closest one, but we don't speak. So no, I have no family close, and it's been like that for a long time. So unfortunately, I'm kind of used to it, but it sucks sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. So how are you doing? I got this question a lot, and I just want to say thank you so much for caring enough about me to ask me how I'm doing and to be concerned about me. It means the world to me. It really, truly does. Thank you so much for all of you who have asked, how am I doing? I'm doing all right. It's kind of a wave, a roller coaster ride right now. Some days I feel like, you know, things are looking up and I'm happier and this is, you know, the right plan for me. And then there's days where, you know, I mourn the loss of my marriage and my family being together and everything. It doesn't ever make me feel like this is the wrong decision. Let me put that out there. But you still grieve it, you know what I'm saying? So, and if you've been divorced, I'm sure you understand exactly what I mean with that, but you still grieve it. So it's an up and down, you know, one day I feel great, the next day, you know, it can be difficult. So it just kind of depends on the day that you catch me. Next question, do you think you and your ex will get back together? This was probably the second most asked question, and no. I think both of us know it's not gonna happen. And we don't hate each other, like I said. We don't have any bad turmoil. We're just on different paths. We're different people now. We're on different paths. We want for different things. And it's been that way for a long time, and we've tried to make it work, and it's just, because we're so different now, we've changed a lot in the long period of time that we've been together. And because we're so different now, we butt heads a lot. And one of us always ends up feeling like we're receiving less or we're giving more, or, you know what I mean? So neither one of us end up being happy in the end of it, you know? And honestly, I feel like we get along much better now living separately than we did when we were living together. And I honestly think he can agree to that. And I think he is in the same, you know, mindset as I am. So no, I mean, I think it would be a miracle for us to get back together. And I just don't see that happening. And I don't see us both genuinely being able to be truly happy getting back together. So no, I don't foresee that happening. Are you staying in South Carolina or do you want to move closer to home? This is a difficult question to answer because I have no idea what's going to come in, you know, the future. For the last couple of years, I have wanted to move back to Connecticut. I mean, I just feel like, I've always felt like that's still my home. Like, I miss New England. I miss the weather. I miss the season changing. I miss the ocean is different there than it is here. Like, I just miss everything I miss the closeness of friends and family. And yeah, so I've wanted to move back for a long time, but obviously all of that is kind of contingent upon, you know, what Chris and I decide. And he's not from there. He's from Pennsylvania. So chances probably are I probably won't move back there because I'm not going to take the kids from him. And I don't think he's going to want to move there just because I want to move there. So probably not, but I would love to. So I'll probably stay here in South Carolina for as long as he has, you know, he's here. How are the kids adjusting to the new routine? They're adjusting. It's the same thing I think with me. Some days, you know, they're fine and I don't even think noticeable. And then some days, you know, it's sad for them. For the most part, I've noticed that the main days where like it's difficult for them are days where like they have to split their time, right? But they're so used to being in this house and they're so used to their routines. And Chris works so much, and because he was military, he also deployed. So they're used to him being gone. So for them, I don't think, you know, as they're going through the week and going to school and doing their normal routines where he's not usually present anyways, I think for them, it's not much different. When they notice the difference is when, you know, they have to go to dad's house and maybe they don't want to, or they have to come to mom's house and maybe they don't want to, you know, that's where I feel like more of the trouble is. But for the most part, they are adjusting even better than I thought they possibly could. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that. Are you planning on working or being a stay-at-home mom? This was another somewhat frequent question that I got, and I know that anybody who doesn't do YouTube, you know, I totally get why you would ask this question, but YouTube is a job. This is my job, and I do make money doing it, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of work. If I did get a job outside of YouTube, I wouldn't be able to do YouTube anymore because it does consume so much of my time that I wouldn't be able to do it. But no, I do plan on being a work from home mom, and this is working for me right now, and it's providing what I need. So there's no reason for me not to do this, because it allots me the opportunity to be home with my kids and pick them up from school and drop them off and be a present parent. So as long as this is working for me, which hopefully it will for a very long time, this is what I'll be doing for my job. What are your favorite cleaning products? My favorite cleaning products are, I love Method. There's quite a few which I use a lot in my cleaning videos. Like, I love the Method cleaners. I love pretty much all of the Method cleaners. I've used the Evergreen wood spray quite a few times, and I really like that one a lot. I need to try some of their other stuff. Then I also really like a lot of like Clorox stuff, like the Clorox urine remover, the Clorox toilet wand, and then magic erasers, Mr. Clean, magic erasers, anything like that. I love that type of stuff too, but I'm very sensitive to like smells and stuff. Like, I can't use anything with bleach in it because it really irritates like my nasal cavity area, throat or whatever. Like, I just can't do it. It gives me an instant migraine. I cannot do it. And I know it's like the most thorough way to clean, but I just can't handle like the smell of it. So I don't use any bleach products. And then lavender, the smell of lavender, for some reason, I wish I liked it. I wish I did, because it doesn't necessarily smell bad. It bothers my sinuses for some reason. So I have to be very particular about the products I use and how they smell and everything. So I get really picky about it. But the Clorox urine remover, I know that has to maybe have some type of bleach in it, or maybe a low amount or something like that. But it doesn't have a strong scent to it. Like, it definitely has a smell, but it's not like overpowering, and it doesn't bother me. So usually that's what I go towards. Anything that doesn't like really irritate my nasal cavity. What kind of lashes do I use? I use the Flutter Habit lashes. I love these lashes. I started using them probably about 2 months ago. So happy I found them. So happy I started using them, because I was actually considering getting eyelash extensions at the time when Chris and I were still together. Good thing I didn't, because I wouldn't be able to afford it now. But I love how, you know, I've had eyelash extensions before, and I just love being able to wake up in the morning and look alive without having to do anything with myself. And so when I came across Flutter Habit through an influencer's page on Instagram, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. It's worth trying. I can't do strip lashes like I've tried. I can never get them to stay on. I can never get them fully on. I'm not good at it. Did the Flutter Habit ones, and I mean, I still struggle with it a little bit, but I always get them on and they look halfway decent, so totally worth it. Somebody else also asked, what is the removal process in time? Removal process, I take coconut oil. I take coconut oil, kind of like, I have like a jar of it, and I like get it warm between my fingers, and I'll put it right on the line where like the glue is, and right where my lash meets the other lashes. And I'll do that, and honestly, after a couple of minutes, the glue is usually worn down. And I don't do that until I've been wearing them for like a week or a little over a week. So they're already like kind of loose and kind of ready to come off. But I'll do that within a couple of minutes, it comes off. The other question was, how long does application take? Depends on your skill level. For me, it usually takes me about anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, the whole process, like getting them out, getting the glue on, letting the glue dry a little bit, you know, getting them all on. I do one eye at a time. So the whole process usually takes me probably about 20 to 30 minutes, which I don't think is bad at all, especially since I only do it like once a week, maybe once every other week. Usually what I do is I will take these same ones and I'll wear them for 2 or 3 weeks. As they're like coming loose, I'll just glue that piece back on. So they last me a while, and a case comes with 6, and I think it's $35 for the case. So they last for a while for a really affordable price. The next one was, what water after application to lashes? So I don't submerge my face in water. That's basically what like all my research showed, like just don't submerge your face. So I just cup water in my hand and splash it on my face. That's really all I do. And then when I clean, I just clean, you know, I'll like clean right here, kind of clean around my whole face. And then once again, I'll like cup some water, pour it on my forehead, cup some water, pour it all over the rest of my face. You could even put like this part and down in the water. But yeah, that's how I do water, because it says not to like submerge them, like not get them, it's okay to get them wet, just don't submerge them in the water. Do you have any hobbies? I had to think about this for a minute, because honestly, like being a mom and, you know, a wife at one point and everything, I feel like I didn't have any hobbies. And if you had asked me that a year or two ago, I would have told you I have no idea, because I have no me time. But now I know for sure. My hobby is for sure like redoing furniture and doing makeovers and decorating. Mostly not even so much decorating, but more like DIYs. Like I love doing woodwork on the wall and some like creative paint and stuff like that. So that would definitely be my hobby. If I had $1 million and can do whatever I wanted to this house, I would be doing projects every single week. That would be probably all the content you would see from me. But I don't always have the money to back those projects, but that's what I love doing. That would be one of my hobbies. Any plans for the summer? As of right now, no. Possibly might go back home for like a week or like a weekend or something, but as far as like solidified plans, no. I'll probably find something to do with the kids, whether it be like a weekend trip or something like that, but no big plans. Where are you from originally? I feel like I already kind of answered this, but I'm originally from Connecticut. I am from a small town in Connecticut, and my mom graduated from the same high school I graduated from. My sister graduated from there. My grandmother graduated from the high school, a town next door to that town. My grandfather is from Staten Island, so he wasn't originally from that area, but my grandmother was. So I grew up in a small town where everybody knows everybody, and I grew up in this little bubble where like everybody knew my grandparents, everybody knew my mom and her brothers and sisters, and like, you know, I grew up with these people who, you know, not only grew up with me and knew me, but they knew my entire family. I knew their entire family. So very small town feel, and that is definitely not the life I've been living the last decade, that's for sure. So it's been a real adjustment, but a good one. It's fun to travel and see different places. What if your ex has to move? Will you move too? Depending. I mean, it kind of just depends on where he goes. I want to make sure wherever he goes, you know, I can be happy too. It's a place that, you know, I will enjoy as well, but he will never have to move. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if that day does come, he, you know, I know he'll discuss it with me. I know it'll be a mutual decision if we do go. So, because we're in this together, we have kids together, you know. So if he gets offered an amazing job somewhere and it's somewhere that I think I could be happy, then sure, I'll probably go with him. Is your ex the father of all 3 kids? No, he is not. My oldest is 17, and his dad was my high school sweetheart, and we were together all throughout high school and for a little while after that. And I got pregnant when I was 19 years old. I was still really young, and, you know, we kind of just grew up and grew apart, honestly. I was like 15 years old when we got together, so it was, you know, we grew up a lot. We grew up a lot together, and he was there for me through, you know, a really difficult time. My teenage years were really difficult and really hard, and he was there for me through a lot of that. And we also have a great co-parenting relationship. We've always gotten along. We've always been able to be cordial with each other and talk to each other about stuff, not let anything get out of hand or whatnot. So, you know, and I think that's one of the things that has helped Chris and I kind of, you know, land into this spot where we can be cordial, because he's seen the entirety of our relationship. He's seen how cordial me and Colby's father is. So he knows that that's possible. Like, we don't have to be, you know, we can be civil. We don't have to hate each other. We don't have to be mean to each other. We can put the kids first and we can be civil with each other. So he's seen that example. And I think, you know, obviously who wouldn't want that for their children, right? So I think that helps us, you know, land into that role, knowing that we can do it and it is possible to put our feelings aside and not to get petty, you know? But yeah, no, he is not Colby's biological father. Colby's biological father he's a great dad. He's an awesome dad. I couldn't have asked for a better dad. Colby gets to see him mostly all the summers. And then like if he wants to go there for some holidays or whatever, it's kind of up to them. Like if Colby wants to go or if his dad wants to take him and Colby agrees to that. I've never told him he can't have him or anything like that. We don't do that to each other. So, but he's still in Connecticut. So, it does make it a little difficult, but yeah, so that answers your question. How are you able to financially manage now that your husband has rent? I make my own income and he makes his own income. And of course he helps me because I have the children full time. So between those factors, we are comfortable enough to be able to do that. How long do you fast for? So I try to do a 16-hour window. You could do like 14 hours to 16 hours. I find that 16 hours is the best, so I try to stick to that. But some days I do 14. Kind of just depends on what I have going on. If I have time to eat later, or if I don't, then I'm gonna make it 14 so I can eat now and go on with my day. But I typically do 16 hours, so I'll eat dinner somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock, and then I'll eat breakfast around 9 a.m. I get back from dropping Colby off from school around that time, so it's just kind of perfect timing for me to make myself breakfast and sit down and eat, because before that it's like chaos getting everybody ready, trying to get myself ready, get out the door and all that. So usually it's a 16-hour window, and I find that it's helped me keep weight off. Like doing the intermittent fasting has helped me keep weight off. At my age too, in my mid-30s, like they say it is important to do something like that because, your body does change, you slow down in general. So, and it just has really helped. During the whole pandemic, I kind of gained a bunch of weight and I was struggling with getting it off and I was struggling with keeping it off. And that's when I kind of came into intermittent fasting. And it's helped me keep the weight off. Even when my diet like gets a little haywire and I'm eating like crazy and eating stuff I shouldn't be eating, I still typically only gain maybe a couple pounds when my diet's at its worst, where before I would gain an easy like 10 pounds. So I preach intermittent fasting all day long. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. How do you not let people get to you when they tell you that you need to get back with your children's father, especially if the situation is toxic? I'm kind of curious if you were asking this question for yourself or for me. If you're asking this question for me, I don't let anybody bother me because they don't know my situation. They don't know what's going on. Anybody who has something negative to say, it's pure speculation. They have no idea what's going on in my life. And I don't disclose a ton on here. Everything is left up to speculation and what you think. So therefore, I don't let it bother me because I know what's going on in my own life. And if you're asking that question on behalf because you're in a toxic situation, but people keep guilting you into staying with your significant other, do not let them do that. Your mental health is important. You are important. Do not stay in a toxic situation. For one, it's going to come to an end eventually. Might as well be now. For two, you are worth so much more. Don't let somebody treat you that way. I just want to put that out there. If that's the situation for you, don't let anybody convince you otherwise because they don't know. They don't know. And your mental health is not worth appeasing anybody. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother. I don't care who it is. If you're in a toxic situation, that is going to mess with your head and it's going to destroy you. Let them go. If they can't support it, it's one thing to give their opinion, but if they can't support you through that decision, let them all go because they don't deserve to be a part of your life because your mental health is important and you're important. So I just wanted to put that out there just in case that you were asking for that reason, because I don't want you to feel like you need to stay in a toxic situation because other people tell you it's the right thing to do. It's not. You're important. Don't do that. Has your head issues recovered? No. I answered that earlier. So no, it has not recovered. Do you think it is possible for most people to put aside their differences, work on themselves, and have a better and stronger marriage? I absolutely do. I do. I actually have a friend, and when I told her that Chris and I separated, she told me that her and her husband separated for a year, and I never knew, like I would have never guessed. They seem so happy. They seem so connected. they have a bunch of children together and everything. And I was like, really? Wow. Like I would have never. And she was like, yeah, you know, it brought us closer together. So I do think sometimes, I think people have to grow and people have to want to change. They have to want to grow. And as long as you're willing to do that, that's the important thing. As long as both parties are willing to do that, you know, that's great. And I think whether you stay together and work on that together, possible, or you can separate and work on yourselves for a little while to get back to a healthy place. I think it's totally possible. I think it's totally possible. Do you have more than just your finger tattoo? Yes, I have a bunch of tattoos. I have a bunch of tattoos. I've also dreamed of having a sleeve or both sleeves done one day. Just never got around to it because I was always having kids and we were moving and stuff, and now I probably won't be able to afford it for a while, but one day I would love to have at least one sleeve. I also was thinking about getting more finger tattoos because I just love them. I love tattoos and piercings. They're like my thing. I've had my nose ring since I was 17. Like, I just love all of that stuff. Oh, this is one of my other tattoos. It says Kyle 143, which is my cousin who passed away in 2008. 143 means I love you, and me and his sister actually designed this tattoo and got it done together, so she has the same one. We got it done the week that he passed away, and it's not a great tattoo. It's like the lines bled and everything, like it's not a great tattoo, but the meaning behind it is so symbolic that it will always stay. I don't care how ugly it is, I don't care how bad it turned out, it's never gonna go anywhere. So, but that was my first tattoo and I was 22. So never got a tramp stamp or anything though. If you're a millennial, you know what I'm talking about, and you very well may have one. Not that I didn't want one at the time, but I was in high school when that was going around, and some of my friends did get one with their parents' permission, and my mom would not sign off on it. So don't have one of those. Is your husband still active duty? No, he retired at the end of December. So he is completely done and completely out of the military. Thank goodness. Custody, if your husband gets stationed in another state. Well, that answers that question. Won't happen. Any move that goes from here on out will not be stationed. It will not be orders. He won't be forced into it. So from here on out, it'll be a mutual decision between both of us if we decide to move. What is your favorite thing to do for yourself on your free time? Right now, in this current state of my life, just relaxing. Before the separation, I never really got a break, to be honest. I almost never got a break. So it's really nice to even, like this past Saturday when the kids were at their dad's house, I have therapy on Saturday morning, so I went to therapy and I came home and I literally laid in my bed all day. I did some work too, like on my computer while I laid in bed, but I literally laid in my bed all day, watched some true crime, and it was amazing. It was so nice. So right now I'm kind of just nurturing myself that way, or running the errands that I want to run solo on those days. But right now that's all I need is just some rest and relaxation. And eventually, as we sink more into this, maybe I'll want to like go out for like a night with the girls or go get dinner with my girlfriends or like something like that. But right now, honestly, just relaxing on the weekends, undisturbed, feels amazing. Is YouTube your full-time job? Kind of already answered this too, but yes, it is my full-time job plus some. Has your frozen shoulder resolved itself? Yes, it has. Thank goodness. Probably about, say 4 to 6 months ago is when I noticed I haven't had any pain in my shoulder. Like, it actually was really surprising because like I had my head issues going on, like full head issues going on at the time. So when I started seeing the neurologist in August, I could still feel like it was still painful. I stopped going to physical therapy last summer. And then August, when I went there, I could still feel like if I slept on it too much, I would have pain, but it wasn't a constant pain like it was before, and I was able to move it more. I feel like there's still some mobility that like I'm never gonna get back. But for the most part, it's fully functional and everything. And there's no more pain. And that's been probably I'd probably say like the last 3 to 4 months, I've had absolutely no pain, and it's completely like feels normal again. So yes, thank goodness that is done. But as of this want to say it was like January, February of 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years ago now, when I originally first started feeling like my shoulder felt, at first it just felt like I pulled a muscle or something. So it was about 2 years ago, and it can take 2 to 3 years to heal. So kind of on par, makes sense. So, but thankfully it's gone now. How do you spend spare time with your kids? What do you like to do together? So every child is different. I get a lot of spare time with Tristan because the boys are in school during the day, so I get to hang out with him a lot, right? I get to hang out with him a lot. And he's such a cuddly little kid. We will lay on the couch together and watch movies together and just cuddle up. He loves doing stuff like that. Then with Grayson, I usually like to take him out to maybe go to Target and pick out a toy, or we'll go get ice cream together, or he likes like coladas from Dunkin' Donuts, like the vanilla bean colada. He loves it. There's no coffee in those, by the way, but he loves those. So we'll go out and do something like that, get him some ice cream or whatever. And then with Colby, it's a little different. He doesn't love spending time with me all the time anymore because he's 17. So a lot of the times I can get him out of the house or like get to spend time with him. Like if I offer up, like, let's go get dinner together. And that's what I'll usually do on the weekends. Like have him, last weekend we went to a Mexican restaurant locally, and I love their food. It's so stinking good. But we went there and we had dinner together, and I'm the type of mom where like when we're eating dinner and we're hanging out, we're putting our phones down, we're talking to each other, we're hanging out, and he knows that. So usually that's the way that I'm able to like connect with him and all of that. But it's different for every kid because my kids like different things and they're into different things and they're in different stages of their life. So, you know, for Tristan, it's real easy. I just spend time with him, cuddling him and stuff like that. You know, the other two kids are getting a little older, so they need that stimulation while they're hanging out with me. So that's usually what I do for each kid. Would you consider moving to a house with less square foot? Oh my goodness, I dream of moving to a house with less square foot, to be honest. This house is 3,200 square feet. And it's just too stinking big. There's so many rooms, there's so much to clean, there's too many bathrooms. Like, I don't love the size of this house. I don't like how many rooms there is. I mean, I would be totally fine with just putting my desk in my bedroom. Like, but I put it in here because I feel like, well, this would just be an empty, useless room if I don't. So I utilize the space, right? But I don't need all this space. I don't want all this space. I don't want a house this big. Like, I dream of having like a 1,800 square foot house. That's just, you know, I would rather, to be honest, I would rather pay for higher end things in a smaller house than to pay for more space, you know? So I look forward to selling this house one day, to be honest. I look forward to selling it one day and moving into somewhere smaller and having less to clean and, you know, less of an area for my kids to make a mess, all of the things. So yes, one day I will be in a smaller house. How long ago since you moved from Connecticut? I moved from Connecticut at the end of 2010. It's 2023 now. So it's been not quite 13 years. It's been about 12 years because I moved at the end of 2010. So it's been about 12 years. It's wild to even say that. Like, it's been so long. It's been so long, but it doesn't really feel like it's been that long, but it has. It's been a really long time. So about 12 years. Where in Connecticut are you from? Okay, so I'm from like the coast. I mean, Connecticut's super tiny. Anyway, it's probably the size of your town. Let's be honest. Connecticut's it's the second smallest state in the United States. And Rhode Island is right above it, which is the smallest state, and it might as well just be a town. But Connecticut is where I lived and grew up, was right on the coast, like the bottom coast. And if you are familiar with that area or with Connecticut at all, the town I am from has a casino called Mohegan Sun in it. And some of you'll have to let me know in the comments down below if you're from, because anybody from like New York or Massachusetts or anything, y'all will know Mohegan Sun. But Mohegan Sun, that is the town I grew up in. Mohegan Sun actually opened in the 90s, and I mean, that was our hangout in high school because I grew up in a small town where there literally is nothing. I mean, you have the ocean, but you have like 2 months out of the year where it's like warm enough to actually go to the beach. But the casinos where we hung out, like, fun fact, we have Mohegan Sun and then Foxwoods Casino, And I don't know if this is still the case, but at the time when I was growing up, they were the two largest casinos in the world, 20 minutes from each other in one of the smallest states. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. We do have a lot of Indian reservations out there and everything, so I mean, it does make complete sense. We have Mashantuckets, and then we have, you know, the Mohegan tribe, and that's where those came from. But yeah, so fun fact about where I'm from, and if you're anywhere in that surrounding area, you know Mohegan Sun and probably Foxwoods, but Mohegan Sun is the town that I am originally from, which is also known as Montville, Uncasville, or Oakdale. We call it Montville. Like, we don't say we're from Oakdale or we're from Uncasville. We usually say we're from Montville. I went to Montville High School. I graduated from Montville High School. So that is the place in Connecticut that I'm from. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. This is a long one. Let me know in the comments down below if you stayed till the end. What kind of emoji could we do? Put a thumbs up emoji if you stayed till the end. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for participating. This was a lot of fun and a great way for you to get to know me better. Thank you so much. If you're new here, I hope you hit that subscribe button, and please give this video a thumbs up. That really helps my channel, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.